It's been a little minute, been a little hot minute. Um, I know we recently did a stream the other night. However, I had to kind of take that stream down for for reasons. We're not gonna get too much into that. But recently, in recent weeks, recent days, as a matter of fact, some allegations have come out, against Jay Z, and it's rather unfortunate. I have to admit that it is rather unfortunate. Hold on, give me 1 second before to admit that it's rather unfortunate. You know, and there's reasons why I would say that, right? Because in terms of Jay Z's art, I believe that he's a very very talented musician, very very talented rapper, very astute businessman, very smart person. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like Jay Z's perfect. I'm not gonna act like anyone's perfect. I'm not gonna act like I could swear for these individuals, right? When it's all said and done, when it comes down to this kind of crime that he was accused of, if he actually did these things, I can have absolutely no sympathy for him. On the flip side of that same coin, I don't necessarily. I'm trying to say this without being too insensitive, but I don't necessarily believe that this is something all the way accurate. I mean, that was my stance when it initially happened, when I initially heard about it, and I still feel the same way right now, right? But yeah, so Jay Z, the situation that happened with Jay Z, the individual that has come out and sort of spoke out against him, I guess there are some inconsistencies in the story, right? There are some inconsistencies in the story. But so they did an interview with NBC Live. I didn't watch the interview, but I'm going to go ahead and tap into the interview right now and find out what it is that was said, right? Because it would be rather unfortunate. Like I would hate it if Jay-Z actually did these things, right? So as of right now, with the evidence that's been, I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I've been looking over the evidence or anything like that. But based on my current understanding and the way that I see things right now, I don't necessarily all the way. I can't. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense to me that Jay Z would do something like this. I don't put it past Diddy, but it doesn't make any sense to me that Jay Z would do things, something like this. Appreciate it. Live for Duro. Thank you so much. Look, man, it is what it is. What's going on? Um, you know, yeah. Whenever we talk about politics, it gets jam packed in here. But it is what it is. We're gonna move away from politics. We're gonna talk about things that we actually like, because politics get very draining. And I actually had to take some time off. So this is me actually coming back to being more consistent again. But I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let's hear what the accuser has to say.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to
Inconsistencies in her allegations. Inconsistencies in her allegations. I kind of want to stick a pin right there, right? Because I haven't looked over it as yet. But the inconsistencies in the accusations. Now, here's my thing. if someone actually did something to you, right, then you have absolutely every right to seek justice against that individual. I'm not saying this lady's making this stuff up, but if you are making things up that threaten an individual's livelihood, that threatens an individual's reputation, that threatens everything that they stand for and everything that they've built over a period of time, then whomever is doing that is the absolute scum of the earth. Not saying that she's, not actually a victim. But when it's all said and done, when it comes down to inconsistencies, sometimes, right, when things happen 20 something years later, it's difficult for you to really sort of recant everything. So, as of right now, we're going to give her somewhat the benefit of the doubt. Someone says stop supporting Diddy. I've never supported Diddy a day in my life. We're talking about Jay-Z here. We're not talking about Diddy at all.
Glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs's limo driver who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver.
One thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to join a witch hunt. So if people are thinking that I'm going to join a witch hunt against Jay-Z without actually looking at evidence, you're at the wrong place. I'm going to be completely honest with you, right? If someone actually, if there's evidence stating that this person actually did do these things, then I will no longer support anything having to do with this individual. Right? But as of right now, I just don't see anything that makes me like, oh, aha, yeah, he actually did it. Now, Diddy, on the other hand, I have absolutely no doubt that most of what he's being accused of is actually true. Are there people in it for a cash grab at this point? Yes. And tell you what, because a lot of times, especially with human beings, whenever people see or smell blood, that's when they attack. When they sense a weakness, that's when they decide that they're going to attack. So as of right now, with what's happening with Diddy, I think a lot of people wanted to turn their attention towards Jay-Z as well, the other billionaire that's in the hip-hop industry. The other billionaire that was friends, of course, with Diddy. But he wasn't the only one that was friends with Diddy. So was Trump. Trump says him and Diddy were really good friends, right? Trump was also friends with Epstein, right? When I really look about it, when I really think about it, right? I think about the person that was in the elevator and got his ass whipped by his sister-in-law. And I see how he had a level of restraint. He didn't blow his gasket. He didn't get upset. He didn't attack her back. That level of restraint absolutely has to be commended and has to be studied. Because most people in that situation are going to defend themselves. The only thing that I saw him do was this. Basically, try to get her to stop. That's the only thing that I saw him do. Now, again, I've always said this, right, from day one. Don't put these celebrities, don't put these people on a pedestal. Do not put these human beings on a pedestal. They're human beings just like everyone else. Now, the Alexander brothers, the real estate moguls, who actually were doing the things that they've been accused of doing since high school, and them getting jammed up and caught up in the situation that they're being caught up in right now, with the mountain of evidence against these individuals, there's a high probability that they've actually were doing these things. And for people doing these things, I have absolutely no sympathy for. But as of right now, these are just you see, the thing is with America is this: people could bring up a lawsuit on anyone for absolutely any reason, right? If this is something that actually happened, then whatever happens to Jay-Z or whomever is in this situation, it does not matter. They got what's coming to them. If it didn't happen, well, there should be some consequences for the person that put up these accusations if it's false. Period. That's the way how I see it.
Told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a...
In my opinion, and I could be wrong, the lawyer that's dealing with the situation is an absolute shark. And again, much like we mentioned before, a lot of times when people sense blood or they see blood like sharks, they go in that direction. Right? Now, is Jay-Z an angel? Absolutely not. This could be some karmic debt for some of the things that Jay-Z has said himself that he has done in the past. Right? Maybe not exactly in this way when you kind of look at it with the things that he kind of, said that he did through his music. Yo, bro, I think we twins. Yo, somebody just literally just screenshotted me and put up wow. And put up an actual and sent in a super chat. Well, I thank you for the super chat, but I don't know why you would do that. Man. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah. It's not every accusation that's levied against someone is actual facts, right? I think when I see the manhunt or when I see the witch hunt for Jay-Z, right, in this, time, in these times that we're living in right now, I see a witch hunt for Jay-Z, right? They got Diddy, and I'm here to say, listen, I hold my hand up when it comes to Diddy, right? I've never defended Diddy. I was never a big, huge fan of Diddy, right? I've been hearing rumors about what Diddy was doing for a very, very long time, since I was a youngin', right? I've been hearing about the situation, what he's been accused of doing for a very, very long time. So I'm not going to sit up here and try to defend Diddy, right? Do I believe most of the things that are being accused of? This is just my belief. I could be wrong. I do believe most of what is being accused of when it comes to Diddy, I believe that a lot of it is true. I do. Do I believe all of it's true? No. Again, some people are sharks, and when they see blood and when they smell blood and when they see that you have money, boom. Now, I just mentioned I was never the biggest Diddy fan, right? There's a few songs that I like. Angels that he did with Dirty Money. The songs that he made with, some of them that he made with Biggie, some of them that he made with Mary J. There's no disputing that he actually made some songs. The more money we come across, the more problems we see, right? We've heard him say that. But then here's my thing. A lot of these people come from some of the most, how do I put it now? Challenging circumstances. Very, very challenging circumstances. They come from humble beginnings. They come from beginnings where they don't have anything, where they had to hustle in order to make something happen in life. But having gone through the jungle, Whether you some of them came from the project, like Hove came from the projects, Margie Projects in Brooklyn. Diddy, his situation, people say he's from Mount Vernon, not really Harlem, but either way, Mount Vernon is also one of those neighborhoods. Mount Vernon is also one of those places as well, right? So coming from these humble beginnings and these circumstances, you get the opportunity to make millions. You get the opportunity to make billions. And you make yourself a billionaire. You immerse yourself in different cultures. You immerse yourself around different individuals. And then you adapt a lot of not only the good things, but you adopt a lot of the negative things as well. Right? So when I look at Diddy and his situation and everything that happened with him, a part of me, of course he's accountable for everything that he's done. Of course he has to be held accountable for the things that he's done in the music industry, the things that he's done to other individuals. But at the same time, I think that a lot of it boils down to Diddy wanting to be like the people that he's around. Right? Throwing these parties, all of the substances that are at these parties, all of the wild things that happen at these parties allegedly. And it makes you kind of just step back and think to yourself, man, why do these people feel the need to have such a level of control over other individuals, whether they be adults, and in the case of Diddy, certainly, or, not certainly, allegedly, right? Why do they feel the need to assert themselves to the point where the other individual has no choice in what it is that they're getting involved in, right? Allegedly. Now, you might think to yourself, you have the money, the influence, the clout. You have all of these things that are necessary in order for you to, maybe get the girl that you want without having to resort to, hold on. Without having to resort to a lot of the things that he's done or allegedly has done. I mean, think about it, man. And I don't know, because I don't know. But for some people, you might be content that, all right, cool, you got 2 girlfriends, or you may have 3 girlfriends, but they're your girlfriends, right? You don't need every single girl in the world, right? Some things you could admire, you could look at, oh yeah, that looks good. And it's okay for that to just go on with their life, right? And I say that, I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just talking about the optics of it, right? Appreciate the beauty and allow the beauty to just move on. And you move on with your life as well. Right? Not everything that you see you have to have. You don't have to have everything. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes fail to understand this, right? There's also this not only train of thought or school of thought, but not everything that glitters is gold. Not everything that glitters is gold. Right? If you have the opportunity to make yourself some money, to stay away from the BS, right? Realize Jay-Z knows that he's not a businessman. He's a businessman. You become a brand. You become a business. A lot of people know that you have money. People know this about you. They know that you got the bag. And you know something? They want the bag too. They want the bag too. And you have people out there that will do absolutely anything to get their hand on that bag. Absolutely anything to get their hand on that bag. Regardless of the consequences and what that means for you. Even if that means you got to lose everything you worked for, there are people out there that are absolutely soulless that will come at you for absolutely everything. And won't even bat an eye. So again, I can't join the witch hunt. I need to actually have evidence. And that's the thing the thing about the internet is this. People don't have to have actual evidence. It doesn't matter what the evidence is. If they see it and it's a good story and it's an entertaining story, they're going to run with it. If they don't like you, they double down and triple down. That's the thing about the internet. So now somebody said something, doesn't have to be true, but to them it's true because they don't like you. You know what someone said when I actually discussed this with somebody? And this wasn't even on the internet, right? But I actually discussed the situation with someone, right? I spoke to someone about it and they said, I believe he did it. Look at his lips. He must have did it. Look at his lips. I think they were trying to be funny. But on the other hand, there was somebody that was walking past that was like, yo, your boy, he's bugging. What is he talking about? Look at his lips. He's bugging. What is this? What's the logic behind that? There is no logic behind it. There doesn't have to be any logic behind it. Because it's entertaining. Because I don't like him because of what he looks like. Because I don't like him because of maybe the music that he's made. For whatever reason, this guy, I believe that he did the things that he's been accused of doing. And that's the unfortunate part. That's the unfortunate part.
Religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy.
Hold on 1 second. Let's get that one. Let's get that one.
Diddy's driver who told me.
Limo driver who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs.
So the people that she said that she saw at the VMAs, the Maddens, their representative said that, hold on, wait, we weren't even at the VMAs in the year 2000. So the people that she said that she was speaking to at the VMAs, describing the tattoos that they had, the representative said that they were not even at the Video Music Awards in the year 2000. You see the inconsistencies? You see when the evidence starts to add up now? You start to look at the evidence. It's not just about what it is that you believe. It actually has to be evidence as well that backs up your claims. You can't just go all willy-nilly just making claims on people just because they have money or just because you don't like them. You can't just go around doing that crap. What type of world do we live in where anybody could look, and this is the thing, because anybody could sue anybody for anything. It doesn't have to be true or not. Anybody could sue anyone for anything. It doesn't have to be true or not. So this is one of those things where people get together, they decide that they're going to sue you in hopes that you're going to settle, right? To kind of nullify it so that it doesn't get out to the public. You get a payday, your client gets a payday, hands clean, on to the next thing. But make no mistake about this. There's a lot of people in the culture and out of the culture that wants to see this billionaire, Jay-Z, they want to see him on his, for lack of a better term, face. There's a lot of people that do want to see that. There's an actual witch hunt that's going on when it comes to this individual. Is he perfect? No. But if you think about even what it is that he said, right, in addressing this situation, and ordinarily, Jay-Z is not the type of person that really addresses these things in the public, right? On the Blow the Whistle song, which he did. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. On the Blow the Whistle song, which he did not too long ago, right? It certainly wasn't in his early career that he did the Blow the Whistle song. So big, we ain't gotta respond. When you're talking to a Don, please have respect, like you're talking to your mom. Right? So big, we ain't gotta respond. And I think right throughout his career, that was sort of the temperament that he vibed with, right? Again, when you look back at the elevator situation, most people would have reacted. His reaction is to do this. His reaction is to just basically just try to deflect and just try to ease it and try to move the aggression somewhere else. He didn't respond how most people would respond to defend themselves when they're being attacked. Right? So, a lot could be said about how people respond and react in pressurized situation when they're under pressure. And sometimes when they're under pressure, sometimes people are just going to react. Sometimes when they're back against the wall, when it's fight or flight, when it's sink or swim, they are going to just react. Right? Now, of course, that situation, it doesn't necessarily just paint his whole character just because that situation happened and he handled that situation so well. We don't know what happened leading up to that. We don't know if it's something where he felt as if it's something that he deserved or he provoked her to responding in that way. I'm not making any excuses for her and how she responded. We're talking about the salon situation that happened in the elevator back in the day, maybe like 2013 or something like that, back in the day. Right? About 10, 12 years, however many years ago it was. Right? So, when you look at this person and you see how this person responded in certain pressurized situation that they've been put in, it kind of makes you think, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that this is the type of person that would try to overpower someone or try to hold someone down. But again, that's my assessment. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But given the evidence, and especially listening to the words that are coming out of the accuser's mouth, and the accuser sitting up there and saying, hey, listen, there was this person that was there, that person was there, we saw the tattoos, we had a conversation about the tattoos. Come to find out, that person wasn't even there that year, right?
His background, so it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind."
What does that say to you? What exactly does that say to you? If the listen to me. There's a lot of grown men out there who have daughters, who have kids. If this was a situation that happened to your kid, number one, why was your kid there by themselves at 13? Right? How did that happen? How did the limo driver end up picking her up and taking her here? Right? But you being a father, and sure, she said that the father says that he would remember if something like that would have happened. And she said that she didn't utter a word to her father or something along those lines. Like she didn't say anything to her father about the situation. But you would know based on the behavior. Based on being around your kid and the kid experiencing something that no kid ever should ever have to experience ever in life. Something that traumatic. Most people, it doesn't even have to be your father. Most people are going to pick up on the cues. Most people are going to pick up on the traumatic experience that you just had. There's something off about your energy. What's going on? Are you okay? You don't look okay. Something happened. Something definitely happened. What happened? Where are you coming from? How did you end up here from Rochester? All the way down here from Rochester. If you don't know, Rochester from New York City, I believe it's New York City is where they're saying that the VMAs happen. But Rochester from New York City is hours upon hours upon hours. Hours. Right? And probably in excess of 4 hours. How the hell did you end up down here? I got some questions. Where are you coming from? Who were you with? Especially if you're a father. Who were you with? Where are you coming from? Where are they? You mean to tell me none of these questions were asked? None of these questions were asked? None of these questions were asked. None. So this is my thing. Yeah. Feel how you want to feel about Jay-Z. I don't give a good goddamn how you feel about him. You could love him, you could hate him. It does not matter to me at all. Right? When you look at the facts, and you listen to what it is that's coming out of her mouth, and you listen to the inconsistencies, what conclusion do you then draw after that situation? After listening to what it is that she's saying, what conclusion do you draw after that? Look, any man that does any of these things, I have absolutely no sympathy for. At all. If you actually did these things. But if you didn't do these things, then what happened to the individual that put up these claims against you? Because again, this is one of those things, anybody could sue anyone for anything. Especially the fact that people see that your friend, right? And this is Jay-Z. Jay-Z, this is, look, Jay-Z going, you're going to have to hold this one, Jay-Z. You were friends with Diddy. You were friends with P. Diddy. So you're going to have to hold that one. But when they see, and then people, listen, there's a mantra, birds of a feather. There is that mantra. We're just going to put that out there. There is that mantra, birds of a feather flock together. There is that mantra. And that's something you can't hide from. Right? So if your friend was involved in some of those things, people are going to think, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. that you may have been involved in some of those things as well. People are going to think that. Not just looking at it from my perspective. If I wasn't a Hove fan, or if I didn't listen to Hove music, and I saw that he was hanging out with P. Diddy, and that he did albums with R. Kelly, I'd be like, look, I have my reservations about Trump. He was friends with P. Diddy, according to him. And Epstein. Right? Best friends with Epstein. Birds of a feather. Right? But at the same time, when it's all said and done, even though we're not going to open that slippery slope because we all know what it is that transpired. Well, we don't all know because we weren't all there. But at the same time, you know, there were certain allegations levied against him as well. And, you know, he was found liable of certain things. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. What we're talking about is this situation that's happening today. Or not today, but in the current time that we're in. Right? And again, when you think about it, when you unpack it and you look at it objectively, you think to yourself, damn, you know something? Birds of a feather do flock together. Does that mean that he's guilty? No, it doesn't. You could be cool with somebody. You could know someone and not exactly know entirely what that person's doing at all times. You guys could have common interests. Hey, we're both billionaires. Hey, we both come from New York City. Hey, we both, we have so much in common. Not necessarily that, but we have so many other things in common that we may feel as if we have common interests. We may network to with one another. We may feel as if, you know what, we are to create an alliance because of where it is that we come from and what we've made it through and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. It could be that they were friends for those reasons. But at the same time, when people look at it objectively, yes, they are going to say those things. Yeah, absolutely. But again, that whole situation that happened where, you know, you're driving, your father doesn't know what it is that transpired. Your father's not asking any questions. He's not looking at the clues. He's not trying to figure out who you were around and how the hell you got from Rochester all the way down here. He's not trying to figure out any of those things. And now he's saying he doesn't even remember. He doesn't recall that situation even happening.
What I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC,
Didn't ask me.
Listen to what she said.
Told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't.
Rode home in silence. Rode home from New York City all the way to Rochester, all the way upstate from New York City in silence with your dad. He didn't ask, how did you get down here from all the way upstate, all the way down to New York City? He didn't ask. If you're a father, are you going to ask that question? You're a father. You're a father. You see your daughter, and according to her, she's been through something extremely traumatic. She doesn't even have to say a word. Are you not going to be able to say, well, number one, what are you doing down here? Put yourself in that. This is cryptic reasoning. So we're going to put ourselves in that situation. This is cryptic. Listen, we're going to put ourselves in that situation, right? Not hypothetically, right? I don't ever want any of you guys to ever experience any of this ever in your life, right? I don't want anyone to experience this. But put yourself in that situation, hypothetically, right? You live in Rochester, New York. Your daughter, she's 13. Somehow, some way, some limo driver came and picked up your daughter and brought her to the Video Music Awards. You don't know anything about it. But evidently you guys live in the same household. So this isn't anything where you live in a separate home or anything like that. So now your daughter's at the VMAs. Your daughter's gone hours upon hours because it takes hours just to get from, I was about to say Syracuse. But let's see. Rochester to 5 hours and 15 minutes. I initially said 4 hours. It's 5 hours and 15 minutes. So it took, let's say you're driving in a limo. It took you, let's say, because right now there's no traffic, right? At this time of night, hardly any traffic, right? So let's say it took you 6 hours to get from Rochester, New York, all the way to New York City. Took you 6 hours to get there. Father doesn't know. Dad ain't asking no questions. You miss it. You're 13 and you're just gone. Daddy ain't asking nobody no questions. Daddy's just in La La Land somewhere. And then, this is cryptic reasoning. So we're going to unpack this whole thing. Daddy doesn't know anything about the situation. And then you get to a payphone, you call your father, right? So this is hours again, 5 hours and 15 minutes with no traffic. So we're just going to say 5 hours for argument's sake, 5 hours to drive there, right? So in this time, let's say 7 hours pass when the situation happened. Then you call your father. That's another 5. So 7 plus 5, that's 12. So 12 hours, right, is what we're saying hypothetically, 12 hours, right, since you've left Rochester to now when your father, and this is hypothetical, to now when your father comes and your father picks you up. And that's provided he just drives straight there. He then picks you up and he doesn't ask any questions. He picks you up. He doesn't ask, hey, how the hell did you get down here? Putting yourself in that position. How the hell did you get down? What the hell are you doing down here? Who the hell told you that you could come down here? Don't you know that it's dangerous? Who were you with? These are questions that most parents are going to ask their child. Who brought you down here? Who gave you permission to come down here? But you mean to tell me her father just drove 5 hours after his daughter was gone for 5 hours plus? Minimum? And the father picked her up, didn't ask no questions, didn't even ask how you got here. Hey, how are you? Didn't even ask how she was doing. But he still drove to pick her up. But he didn't ask nothing at all. I'm not saying everybody's going to respond the same way in every situation. But that whole drive there, did he just talk the whole drive? He was just there cussing her out. And then by the time he got there, he's just out of energy. He just didn't ask her any questions. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know, man. I don't know.
Me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, said, because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress. In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said this incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory.
Is any part of you scared coming out against?
Look, man, protect yourself, protect your assets, protect your family if you're a father out there. Look, and I know a lot of times, especially, in these days and age, sometimes people are coming from broken homes and, separate homes and all that sort of stuff. Like, I get it, right? Anyone that's out there hurting these kids and doing this sort of stuff, whether it be kids or adults or whatever it is, and you're doing these things to them, I have absolutely no sympathy for you. Absolutely none. And the same speed, the people that are actually making up these accusations on other people as well, knowing the repercussions, knowing what it is that's going to happen to that person's livelihood and everything that's going to happen to that person's life, you're just as bad. And I'm not saying either or when it comes to either Jay-Z or this woman that's putting up these accusations. But when I look at the situation objectively, when I listen to the evidence and I see the evidence, just from my perspective, it just blows my mind that her father drove five hours from Rochester to New York City. In excess of 5 hours. Could be 5.5, could be 6. To pick up his 13-year-old kid who he didn't bring to New York City. Who came to New York City by herself. And he didn't ask her how he got here. He didn't ask her how she was doing. He just picked her up and just drove home in complete silence for 5+ hours. Unpack that. This is cryptic reasoning. Unpack that. Let's unpack that. So I'm not going to sit up here and try to demonize this young lady. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit up here and join a witch hunt for Hove either. Because the evidence that I'm looking at right now doesn't look too favorable for the person that's putting up the accusations. Again, not saying that it's something that actually happened or it didn't happen. But when I'm looking at the evidence objectively, the things that she's saying, it don't make no sense. Some of it anyway.
Powerful people
Yeah,
coming out against such powerful people.
Hey, hold on.
Sean Carter said this incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory.
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
yeah, I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of, being chastised by their fans.
All right, Chloe Malas joining us now live. Chloe, we just heard a very...
Here's the thing. I don't think anybody should be chastising anyone, whether it be her or whether it be Jay-Z at this moment in time, right? I don't think that's the right way of going about this situation. I think let's see the evidence. Let's hear the evidence. Let's hear each perspective. And here's my thing. If this is something that happened, why didn't you bring this situation to the criminal court? Why is this something that you're bringing to civil court? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe statute of limitation. Not entirely sure what it is that's happening there. But at the same time, it's like... And then... Is it because was it the Diddy situation that inspired you to take action? What happened to Diddy? Is it now you got to get your cut as well? Because you're accusing Diddy and Jay-Z of being in the same place, doing the same thing to a child, which is in and of itself disgusting to even imagine. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna have their own opinion on what transpired, right? People are gonna look at it from various different angles, right? I know the angle that I sort of see it from. Again, I wasn't there, but given the evidence that's been presented and me looking at the evidence as objective as I possibly can, look at the evidence, because she's the one that's bringing the evidence forward, because she's the one that's saying that these things happen. And when she's saying, oh, well, Madden was there, I'm not entirely, the group Madden, name Madden or whatever the name of that group was. And the group, the people involved with the group are saying, hold on, wait, hold on. Slow your horses. We were never there. And the way how you described it, you were describing their tattoos and you're describing this, that, and the third. Come on. They weren't there. And just 5 hours, the amount of time that it took from up top, and whether you flew in or whatever it was that happened for you to, because there wasn't a limo driver mentioned, so I'm guessing the limo driver went to pick you. Did the limo driver pick her up from Rochester? I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but either way, it's disgusting from all angles. I can never give sympathy to anybody that actually does these things. But we have to see the actual evidence as well. The evidence is what we're looking at, right? We're not looking at this through our sentimental lens or through emotion or anything like that. We're looking at what the evidence is saying. And right now, according to the evidence, I don't necessarily, I just don't believe what's being alleged based on the evidence. I could be wrong, but based on the evidence, However, if this is something where something like this actually did happen, then all parties involved deserve everything that's coming to them. And I can give absolutely no sympathy to anyone that actually does things like that, actually has done or does things like this to children or even adults, for that matter. Anyway, cryptic reasoning. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I didn't mention that before. I am working on different content. I think this is something that I'm probably going to break down a little bit more as well. I think we're going to hone in on this a little bit and kind of talk about this one. But yeah, breaking down everything that was alleged. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things, and this is the unfortunate thing, is because is that anyone could sue anyone for anything, and that's the thing that really sucks, because there are people that have to deal with the aftermath of these allegations and these accusations, right? So, yeah, people, please be mindful of that. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure, again, you guys like and subscribe. Thank you to person that sent in a super chat after actually... I got to screenshot this because this is crazy. After actually... Hold on. After actually sending in a super chat, or before sending in a super chat, that was just crazy. I don't know why you would do that. But anyway, thank you so much for sending in the super chat. Guys, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great one. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.